we have here today a really special guest. We have Jurgen Wagner, who's the winemaker at Capcanes Winery. But he's more than just a winemaker. He's really everything about Capcanes. And Capcanes is a winery from Spain that we're really honored and privileged to have available for you guys on Kosherwine.com. It's a fantastic portfolio of wines. They've been doing kosher for years. So we're going to schmooze a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about the wines. So I think the first thing, before we even talk about the individual wines, how did you get started in kosher? Like, where did that come from? How did you get started in that?
Actually, it's a pretty curious story. You know, at the company itself, there's nobody Jewish.
No way.
Yeah, neither me. So we treat the whole religious aspect with a lot of respect. But to me, the kosher law, the curious part, the interesting part is, to me, it's the oldest law of food and beverage conservation which exists in the world. Yeah. So somehow, when it comes to wine, when it comes to kosher wine, we try to make the wines like 3,000 years ago. No fining, no filtration, no cold sterilization, no technique at all. Wow. To keep the wine virgin, natural, yeah, as tasty as possible. And but with the knowledge from nowadays. So we try to combine the richness from the old days with the cleanness from today. And this is, to me, what really makes me so what the whole story of kosher makes so exciting.
That's really cool. So basically, from what I'm getting from that, and that's fantastic, is that you basically make the wines like they were made many, many years ago, like throughout history, with using today's modern technologies. But at the same time, you have this ability to, you use the very big buzzword in that sentence, natural. So natural is a huge buzzword around the wine industry nowadays. So no filter, no fining. Your wines are purely an expression of the terroir and the grapes. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, because in my opinion, there's if you use too much technique, you might get perfect wines, you might get clean wines, but by the end, they're boring. They're simply boring. And I think the same comes when you talk about human beings. I think the curious, the interesting people, they always have these little curious aspects. Kosher can add so much diversity to wine if you treat it in the proper way.
Right. So tasting your portfolio many times over, I can see how much respect you do give to the kosher wines that you produce. But at the moment, you're not only producing kosher wines; you're making non-kosher and kosher as well, right?
Actually, we do 80% non-kosher, 20% kosher. But what few people know is we started making kosher. So the first kosher wine we ever did, the first bottled wine at our property we ever did, was a kosher wine.
So you started as a kosher wine.
We started as a kosher.
That's awesome.
Ended up being both. I like to call the kosher, it's like a winery in the winery.
So some of the Hechsherim or kosher certifications that you have on the bottle are some of the best in the world. So if you know certain people, we get a lot of customers who are looking for specific kosher certification. You literally have some of the best in the entire world. Yeah. So it's something that you guys are proud of. Something that reflects how much respect and how much responsibility you give towards the kosher product that you make. And honestly, I'll tell you the truth, it shows in the wine. Like as you were saying, sometimes wines that are made in bulk or that are just made haphazardly, they don't have character, they're boring. Your wines are expressive, they have flavor, they have depth, they have complexity. There's a lot to the wines. And having some of your older vintages of some of the wines, you could see that there really is a lot there to the wines.
You know what for me is one of the secret when it comes to our wines. We're one of the few kosher properties you can actually reach our vineyards in walking distance. So we own our own land, we work our own land, we know exactly what has to be done on each vineyard. And in many other places, people buy the grapes wherever, they have no control on the vineyards. Yeah.
So you're essentially a state.
It's a state, exactly. It's mostly organic farms. Yeah. It's all vegan. It's further on top, it's kosher. So we really try to do to treat the whole aspect of winemaking in a very conscious way.
So I don't know if everyone heard that, but we're going to go over that again. So think about Capcanes. They're organic, right? They're vegan, technically natural winemaking. And you're basically like a sustainable winery the way you're talking about the wines as well. So all of these buzzwords that people are looking for in their wines, you hit them all. So anyone who wants those type of wines that you're looking for, this is Capcanes is the perfect place to be.